It's the Chinese website up here. We're looking for the trendies here and see. Hello, trendies and all things trendy. Hello, trendies and all things trendy. Hello, trendies and all things trendy. You'll find me and you and all the trendies. All forms, sources, and sorts of social media. We could go. I wouldn't mind actually going on with that, but let's start off with Noise Confederation, and my mom's listening to the Irish music, so let me get the volume right here. Okay, great. Now I'm just gonna pull these blinds down so our audio is not conflicting with each other. So just give me a second. 1 second. I'll be right back. Live, huh? I'm here to tell you we're bringing big news. Step on to these new thoughts. A land of milk and honey on the rise. Like hell in a handbasket. A juggernaut in disguise. So hard. So hard. What's up, everybody? Just went out to dinner. Had a really nice dinner. Very relaxing. I want to tell you guys a little anecdotal story, and we're gonna have a little bit of music in the background, playing in the background while I tell you the story. And I want to make sure that you can hear me over the music while I'm speaking. But I'm going to go ahead and share this in Destiny's chat. It would be nice if you guys would do this for me, but I will go ahead and do it. Twitch/Nays Garden and hashtag kick/Nays Garden. And then the Rumble link would be hashtag Rumble. Right, / and then these characters from Rumble, which are, where's the Rumble? Right here. I could just type them in probably instead of I always copy and paste them, but I'm thinking maybe I could just type them in. Rumble / V as in Victor 2 UBE IZ. There we go. Okay. Great. Excellent. So, listening to a little bit of this Ox project, and I'm going to tell you a little story. My girlfriend and I went to a restaurant, and it was kind of like a Mexican New Age-ish. I had the feeling there were a lot of lesbians in that restaurant, and I'm going to tell you why. We were seated in a section where we couldn't see the rest of the restaurant. It was just our section and then walls, right? In our section, there were 14 people. 14 people, right? There was me, and then my girlfriend, and then 12 other women, all seated with each other. There's group of four, group of two, group of two, group of two, group of two. Gesundheit! My My mom sneezes 9 times in a row. I looked around and I looked at my girlfriend and I said, you know, I'm the only man in this whole section. Even there were 2 waitresses that walking around and the manager. Those 3 were women too. I didn't even count those. And we weren't the only people in the restaurant. I'm just saying in this section, right? That we couldn't see any other people. It was surreal. I felt like I was on another planet. And it was fun and it was cool. It was neat. I liked being the only man in this section in this restaurant. It was just a cool thing, you know? Do you know what my girlfriend said to me? After I pointed that out to her, she says, Did you pump the fucking muscles this morning? I was like, yeah, I worked out. She's like, okay, good. Then, you know, you're looking good for all these women. I go, I just want to look good for you, baby. I just want to look good for you. And I did. And so I did. I stood there and I said, what's on this menu over here? You see this section over here? Whoa, who are those people right there, baby? What's going on right over there? I asked her if she liked the cut of my jib. I don't know if that's the right term. Cut of my jib. The jib of your jab. Whatever. She was like, yeah, I like it like that. I trimmed the goatee down a little bit. Didn't say anything to y'all this morning. Didn't think you guys gave a fuck. But I went ahead and did it. And that's basically where I want it to be. I don't want to grow hair on my face. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. So, that was nice listening to that song, huh? What do you say we listen to another track? You guys down? Not seeing the chat for some reason. I'm going to refresh it. I hope you guys are chatting at me. We'll try Onward, man. Onward's a great song by the Ox Project. I like having the music. Can you guys hear me okay while I'm talking with the music playing? Please let me know. Sorry, we're dabbing. Can you guys hear me okay over the music? I'm so sorry I didn't get any of your chats earlier. I hope you guys can hear my voice okay. I see I've only got 5 viewers on the main show across all my channels. It's fucking psychotic, dude. I've lost all of these viewers. I don't know what the fuck it is, really. I don't. Fat finger disease. So, can you guys hear me okay over the music? Can you hear the music at all? Can you hear my voice? I guess you can. I guess you guys just aren't going to participate and talk to me once again. I want to make sure you guys understood me. The first part of the show, I couldn't hear. I wasn't getting any of your chat. So if you chatted anything at me, I never saw it. This is the only chat I've seen. So if you could say hello to me, I'd appreciate it. I've got these blinds down so we don't hear my mom's Irish music that she listens to, you know, because we've got so much Irish blood in us. She has to listen to this traditional Irish music from time to time. I don't get it. It's really bad. I mean, at least they sing on key. But it's like, you know, you want to hear that music if you're watching like Braveheart, like in between scenes and shit like that. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the only time I want to hear that fucking music. Oh my god. I only have to deal with this like once every 2 weeks or so it's really not that big of a deal. And plus, my girlfriend's in my bedroom waiting for me. I mean, I can go in there anytime I want to get away from this music. But I figured I could go out here, get high with y'all, we could play some Ox Project, and you guys could like pretend to be my friends, you know, for a few minutes and talk to me in the chat. Wouldn't that be cool? If any of you could chat at all. If any of you could say one fucking thing in my chat. Acid Trap said something. That was nice. Presumed human remains found in debris field of doomed Titan sub. Yeah, you think? You think the bodies were fucking, you know? What did you think you were going to find? Why is that a headline? Of course you found some bodies. I bet you we're going to find human remains from 5 of them. Just guessing here, I don't know. Fucking idiots. Oh, the discovery. They discovered the 5 bodies. What a discovery. Oh, hey, we already knew the bodies were down there. It wasn't a discovery. You didn't discover crap. You just had to go to the point where they were and say, oh, here they are. We've relocated them. You know, if dumbass had a goddamn GPS on his shit sub, maybe we could have found him quicker. When his shit sub had collapsed like a fucking can of tuna fish being crushed under a goddamn Sherman tank tire tread. Imagine going out like that. Gone. Just crushed instantly. Pew! Brain squeezed right out your ears. Pew! Instantly. Pew! Imagine the mess that made in just a second before all the water came rushing in. Just imagine all 5 bodies just compressed into like a tiny little space, probably like this. 5 bodies compressed into the size of a fucking softball that you could hold in your hand, like something out of Star Trek. Oh, this is all of your entire body contained in this one little block of this cube of sand, you know? You guys got anything to say? She's listening to Ave Maria now. Oh my god, we've got to play something hard. Okay. Let's move on to the next fucking song. Don't think you're getting chats. Yeah, I know. I mean, if you guys could say something in my chat, that would be great. We could test this out. I mean, I got your chat, I got Acid Trap's chat. That's from both Kick and I got If I Don't Play Something Soon, dude. Oh my god, this Ava Maria shit, I fucking can't stand it. It's just, oh my god, she has no idea. Just fucking hate this shit so bad. There we go. I just gotta drown that shit out so I don't hear it. You know? Yes! 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 And if I could seal up even more, I'm gonna move one chair over to make it even quieter over here. So bad. So bad. I got it. Yes. 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 Perfect. We are closed in. Turn my fan on. Really make some noise up in this bitch. Playing God, yet playing dead. What price? You guys should have seen me before, because I was dressed to go out and I was wearing a different shirt. I look good. I said to my girlfriend, I said, "You look beautiful." And she said, "You look good too." I said, "Thank you." love this shit. All right, we are going to heat. Anyway, I ordered the wedge salad, and I got to tell you, I've ordered wedge salads before.
Do you take song requests, LOL?
I've ordered wedge salads from different restaurants. It's almost always good. It's almost always the same thing. Blue cheese dressing on a wedge of lettuce with some tomato, sometimes black olives. And the blue cheese dressing is phenomenal, like really crumbly and saucy and really good. And then bacon bits on top. Oh my god. Yeah, that was exactly what it was, and it was so damn delicioso. I'm going to move this clock over and get a second-hand read here, if possible. We were sitting in the restaurant and it started pouring down rain while there. It was kind of nice, kind of intimate and cool. It was awesome. No longer got any cannabis. Cheers, everybody. Oh my god. Fan me, baby. Let's turn the music back on. Oh, that's so good. Overdose. I'm picking the song for Dabs for Days. It's Overdose.
At is the final statement Eileen Wuornos made. She was allowed to make a statement.
Bunch of podcasts, we'll watch them.
This didn't take her 30 seconds. And we read it to you. Quote, I'd just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock, and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th, like the movie. Big, mother, ship, and all. I'll be back.
You know why it works? Because instead of trying to push those buttons at exactly the 5 seconds
Yeah.
I just pushed them all early.
Okay. Because
That's it.
you want to be on time. Be early. Early on time.
It took 2 years for this smooth brain to figure that out.
Well, cheers to that. That felt good just to have like an uninterrupted.
Nailed it.
They
Yeah.
drink while they
But I couldn't
podcast.
come up with I meant to say snag and I said snafu. So there was a snafu in my brain.
You're
That's
fired.
what happened.
Thank you
I'm already feeling this here.
to all the people saying thank you and nice things about us having a second show. Steve
nice.
Warnick.
Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Aw, love you right back.
Bunch Up Pod.
It's me.
Jimmy, the
I'm on their
Runs.
show. I'm on their
Yo.
show.
Newly pods. Yeah, 2 years.
Now I
This is
understand
our
why you guys watch
90th
me.
Episode. Hey, where 90
We have
episodes.
90 shows.
90. I count them like
You
that.
get to
Yeah.
watch me be an audience member now.
They finally got it. Well,
You get to see me
don't-
acting
don't
obnoxiously like
begin.
you.
The night is young, but we're getting there. Well, how was your week, Pat? How has your week been?
As
I'm
I
waiting for you to
adjust my
freeze.
video.
Are you about to? I know. Are you about to
No,
have
no.
some computer crash situation?
You know-
What's happening?
I'm very OCD about the green screen background with the flickering and things.
Yeah,
So I just dialed it in to be a little crisper.
looks good.
I don't know about my week, but my day started off with me going out to move my car and seeing the ticket police, the parking police out there
No.
ticketing cars, but not mine because I
Okay.
got to my car just in time.
You were early. Look at you.
Man's the man
Early
again.
twice. Twice. Good.
So
Good
there's
for
some
you.
lesson about why I was in high school voted biggest procrastinator, and
Yeah.
maybe my life would be different if I had just learned that lesson before I was 52.
Well, listen. I think first of all, I think your life is pretty awesome. You're a great person, and you got a lot ahead of you. So it's good. Good you learned it now. This is the youngest you will ever be.
I hate that saying.
Right now, this moment.
That's a good point.
It's gone, and now it's gone.
It's
It's
I'm
gone.
not
It's
gonna get
gone.
sad, so I'm gonna take
That
those
moment is
as
now
positive.
past.
positive. Like, yeah.
That moment is
I
now
was just
past.
back
That-
and
that
I'm like,
moment of
oh,
glory
when
is now
I came
gone.
out to LA, I was 21, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're too old." You know, it's like, look back, you're like, "Oh my
What?
god."
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, there were people who had already, like they were 13, 14 when they started, and they had huge, it's like all that stuff, and you can get really trapped into that. So right now,
Hollywood
today,
is vicious.
It's awful.
You are way too nice for Hollywood. I
Ah,
guess I would say.
thanks. I'm not really nice on the inside. That's why I drink so much. Well, how was my week?
Oh, yes. How
I
you
will.
doing?
I will tell you. My
That
week
was
sucked
hilarious
because
that she
on
just said that.
Thursday, After our
Well, how was
show,
my
I
week?
woke up to this. I just got to show it because it's so. Hello, Lila Charles Lee, purity tester. Your account has been suspended for violating the Twitter rules. Specifically, for violating our rules against violent speech. You may not threaten, incite, glorify, or express a desire for harm or violence.
Fuck that.
Without expressed written consent by the
Fuck
media.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuck
how
that.
many
Welcome to your
warmongering
new-
assholes who
welcome
tweet
to
about
your
it
new
all the time. Michael
overlords.
McFaul is out there praying for a civil war in Russia, right? Like all of a sudden, those Wagner Nazis became everyone's heroes, and they were hoping they'd overthrow. Like that to me is violence.
Wow.
But okay, and I don't remember Jeremy Ward, 33. He's the Amazon Tis Jugs. He's a great account to follow. I don't know what his post was. I can't remember, and I can't look it up because I can't access that account. But
You guys,
all
this is
you
the
know, obviously
Punch
it was
Up
something about the state
Pod
of our world, and
on
all I said was,
YouTube.
unless we go the guillotine route, we are truly doomed. Which was referring broadly to the French Revolution. Anyway, I've
their
appealed like
2-year
10 times, and I just keep getting back the
anniversary,
same automated response. So
And they are
very
Punch Up
depressing.
Pod on YouTube.
Yeah, and I mean the really sad thing is like your tweet is clearly, even without seeing the tweet you were responding to, it's not targeting
A specific
Kamala
person.
Harris said
Yeah.
this, so we're gonna target Kamala. I mean, she was the first target that popped in my mind, and look,
Ha
it's
ha
on the
ha
screen
ha,
right here.
Hamala
Yeah,
Harris.
Yeah.
Group think we're all
Ha
thinking,
ha, Hamala Harris.
but she would be like 2000th on my list. I mean, let's be honest. There's
Yeah.
so many other people.
Yeah. There's so many other people I want to harm.
I got
Oh
derailed.
shit,
but
don't say that. Don't start
Look.
talking like that.
your comment was not targeted at anyone specifically. So, what constitutes this policy? What
It's
this is
called
the kind of thing that
no. There's no thought put into
Musk
this.
really
Pat.
wanted to create.
There
a
is
free
no
speech
thought-
haven for Twitter.
Yeah.
There
His
is
goal.
no thought.
At the very least, you would just suspend somebody for this and give them a knock and give
Yeah.
them but a
Yeah.
permanent suspension for something you didn't know was policy,
Right.
and it's not a pervasive thing. It's one tweet. It's like saying
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Musk last year or 2 years ago was like, we'll coup whoever we want about Bolivia. Like, that's violence. And I'm sure he had some, hand in that on some level. Yeah, I mean, I am kind of shocked. I didn't think it would affect me as much as it did. It was really a bummer. But anyway, I'm recovering, and I know I'll still see people on the interwebs, but that was a bummer. And yeah, I mean, basically, it reminds me also of what Biden did and his administration of the domestic violent extremists, and the people in there is anybody who protests capitalism, who climate protests for the climate, like just protesters against what the administration wants to do. And you are now a domestic violent extremist. So they're all just trying to silence us.
Right. And what, as always happens, it's selective use of these policies that gets you, because they decide that guillotine as a word means you're gone.
Oh, the good news
Whatever the
is they're
catchphrase
hearing
being
us.
used on the right against the libs.
The good
gonna
news
be
is-
okay. Or any talk about. I've noticed that when you tweet about billionaires, those tweets don't go very far.
Yeah.
Kind of weird how that happens.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's a weird suppressed word.
They're a protected
Twitter.
class now. They're a bunch of snowflakes is what they are.
Yeah, and I mean, from what I've heard, COVID is also another word. If you use COVID in your tweets, they get suppressed.
Yep. And our show, like on YouTube, we've gotten suppressed because of that.
If you say
Yeah.
punch up pod, you're done. You're dead to Twitter.
Yeah, like if you say trendy
And
ass
violence
dabbers,
and
you're
suppression isn't
done.
allowed. All right. Thank you. I'm just looking through all of our comments. Hi, Mitchell. Hi, Saul. Yeah, it's the word that didn't get through the filter. I know, but it's funny that people can use the little icons or whatever, the GIFs and stuff, and that's fine. I mean, I've even seen people actually that have guillotine in their name, in their handle.
Well,
I don't know.
The rub on all this is, okay, they say, like, we excuse these things as automation. Like, all this is so automated that we just get caught up in this because there's no human interaction in these decisions and whatnot.
Right.
But then you see these accounts that have been up forever with just straight up racism.
It's crazy.
And,
yeah.
and we're in DM groups where everyone's saying, report this, report this, report this. So it's, this tweet has been reported 50 times and it's just up forever.
Yeah. No, I know. And those accounts are up. Even if the tweet gets taken down, the account still is around. It's crazy. Yeah, there's not a lot of consistency. I mostly just think that they really are terrified of what they know is coming. And we're going to get into it when we get to our sections on the wheel, but like billionaires are concerned. They know how upset we all are. And they know that this is how empires end, right? I mean, there is no such thing as exponential or infinite growth. You end up eating yourself. It's like a cancer. And that's what's happening in our country right now. And I think they're really aware of it. I think FDR was aware of it, right? Like, that's why he caved. He didn't want all of his, billionaire pals to get pitchforked. He didn't do it out of the goodness of his heart.
Guillotine. Did you use pitchfork because you're trying to avoid saying guillotine now? They've already won.
They've won. The terrorists have won. I can't.
No,
speak
you
on
have
my
to find
freely.
out
It's
another
very
way to
upsetting.
say it.
I hate it.
You have to use a code word.
What do you think?
So,
what do you want to do?
You should invent a code
Well,
word.
I just want to say first off, before we get into the wheel, 2 years of this show, I'm proud that we haven't gotten into podcast wars. We're trying to stay above the fray.
Why can't I type?
Even though it's unpopular, we cover COVID every week. No podcast for popularity would ever cover COVID. because it's just an unpopular issue.
You
And,
guys should invent a code
there are
word.
a lot of cowards out there, and I don't want to name them because that's the podcast war. So my rule 1 and rule 2 are kind of competing a little bit here.
Well, you can express disappointment in general without targeting anybody.
Can I?
specifically.
Vaguely, somebody can. I don't know if I can, but anyway,
Yeah.
I just appreciate that the people that come here and do follow, and we're not, Lila and I, neither of us are interested in doing this for money. We're just doing it to amplify a rational opinion that we think most people should share. So
I agree, and mostly, yeah, we have a blast doing it. So thank all of you for coming and watching us every week. And
Calling an Antoinette.
yeah, it's fun. What's life about if we don't get to share some drinks and commiserate about the state of our world?
yeah, and I was thinking about it, and and Lila and I have been talking about it. We're going to try to focus the show in the future on a little more entertainment value, because I think we both feel like that's what we kind of need for the people that are really burnt out.
Yeah.
A little more,
More
levity.
still covering
So-
the topics, but like with maybe a little bit more humor.
Be
It's
fun,
hard.
Lila. Be fun.
Louder, faster, funnier.
Yeah. Should we get to our will?
I kind of think we should.
All right, let's do it.
All right. I know our topics, but it's going to be hard for me to read them because I don't have my glasses
They've
on.
got 16
Weak
viewers.
in propaganda candidates. Get it?
got-
Analyze this. Off with their heads.
I've got almost
That's
30
a very
viewers
big,
right now.
Big reference to the guillotine. Many timeline cleanses and many shots. Let's spin the wheel.
I like it. Let's see if we keep our record of shots.
We could call it an Antoinette.
Now,
Oh,
Man,
my God,
that guy really needs an Antoinette. Man, politicians could really use a good Antoinette.
That was my fault.
yeah, I know you jinxed us. You said it. You had to go say it. We always have a shot first. Recently, they are for sure quaking in their boots. There is a lot of vote blue, no matter who stuff. That's what's kind of topping my list. Do you want to start with the Pod Save boys? You want to start with our MSNBC clips?
I think-
Where do you-
Yeah, Podcast Boys kind of sums it up.
All right. Here is from the people who brought us Barack Obama. Take a listen.
If the people who voted for Jill Stein, just Jill Stein, in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania had voted for Hillary instead, Donald Trump would have never become president.
Oh my God, here we go.
That's it. Right? And so, I'm sure there's a lot of
You guys
Cornell
seen
West
this?
fans out there.
It's
You live in a
it's an
swing
old
state.
played out
You vote
trope.
for Cornell West, you're helping Trump become president. That's it. And you can say, oh, well, it's Joe Biden's fault he did this or that.
I wouldn't vote for
It's-
Joe Biden, so if
it's
I did
your
vote for
decision.
Cornell West, it doesn't mean
You
you're
get to
taking a vote
decide
away from Joe Biden.
whether you wanna
in
help
my
Donald Trump
specific
become
anecdotal
president
case,
or you
so
don't.
fuck you. Because in
And
my
if you
specific
wanna help him,
anecdotal case,
then you
you
should
have
vote
no
for
idea
Cornell
what you're
West.
talking about.
Or
So
you
if
should vote
that
for
applies to me,
Joe Manchin
it
and
probably
his
applies to
illegal
other
pickup, or you
Americans
should
as
vote for,
well. So
RFK
fuck
Jr. who decided to
you,
run third way.
dude.
But if you don't want to help Trump become president,
Go
you gotta
ahead.
vote for Joe Biden. That's it. Very simple. Now, I think
You're a liar,
messaging
and that's not true.
to
I would never vote for Biden
voters
anyway.
who
I never
might
have, and I never
actually
would.
make this
He's a
decision
fucking rapist and
is
a child
probably
sniffer.
A little different,
Fuck
I
you.
would say, because I
No, chastising works.
Bring back Bernie.
I do think you need to explain why these candidates would not be good candidates for president.
I need to go get
I
my
really
reserves.
do, because I think we could get
Running
tripped up
on
in that, because I think
empty,
if you are one of
running
these
out,
voters and you hear a bunch of people
running
yelling at you to vote for Joe Biden
out,
because you have to,
running
I don't
out
think
of
it's
my
gonna be very
cannabis, and it's making me
and
cry.
I think you have to say why RFK Jr. is not a good choice, why Cornell is not a good choice, why Joe Manchin or whoever it may be is not a good choice. So that is something that I think is going to figure out in the next year. Finally,
I don't like to use the word hate, so I'm not going to.
Hate.
I am so filled with rage when I hear that. They spent 8 years explaining why the president of the United States when held by a Democrat
What?
is not actually a powerful position.
I mean,
they talked about the Green Lantern theory.
Are
What could
they
Obama
supporting
do? He can't
Cornel
actually
West?
do
Do
this.
they have
There
a
was the
can-
Joe
I wonder if they
Lieberman.
have a
There were all these
candidate
different
yet.
issues. They always had a reason
Does
for why the
Punch
leader of the free world actually is not that
podcast
powerful. And now they are going to scream at
endorse
individual
anyone
voters who
pol-
haven't seen their lives change in decades
politically
or have only gotten worse
right now?
for casting a vote for someone who inspires them. And it's your fault then.
So I'm going to
that you
ask
give us
them.
Trump.
They might put that up
Of
on screen.
course. And can I just add something really important about this? The vote is not for a year and a half plus for
Right.
this vote that he's shaming you about now.
Yeah.
So he could be using his platform of liberals to say the framing of this makes all the difference. He could be using this big platform they have to say Joe
I'm a wealthy
Biden
liberal.
needs to
Someone
do
just said I'm a
X
wealthy
and Y
liberal.
or
That's so funny.
Z, or we're going to be
Oh, that's
fucked.
rare.
Yeah.
And that's going to elect Trump.
And they won't do it.
It's a simple switch in how you're thinking, and they want it framed around the voters. Like, all you have to do is appeal to the voters. You literally
Fulfill any
bribe
of your
them.
promises that you know. Yeah.
Anything that
Yeah.
helps out the voters. And look, if you want to make this plea on the finish line where it's like at the end of this all and now
Right.
we're stuck with whatever accomplishment
Right.
Biden has done, that's a different story. I still don't agree with it, but you have
Right.
a better argument than
Yeah.
making that case now, not even halfway through his presidency.
But yeah.
You know, I don't
it's
endorse
absurd,
anybody.
And it really does just
I tell
show
people don't vote for
where their
anybody
loyalties
for anything.
lie always, because they know what the most popular policies are. And this.
But
is
I
on the
did
heels
vote
of
against
them,
Ron
I think
DeSantis
they were
and
on
Marco
MSNBC
Rubio in the state of Florida.
admitting
I did
that
vote against them.
Obama. I mean, we all know it, but like if Klobuchar
So,
and
not
Buttigieg
to be a
had
total
waited 2
hypocrite,
days
I
to
want you
drop
guys to
out,
understand.
Bernie
I'll
would
tell
have
you
been
how fuck I
nominated.
voted.
He says those
But I
exact
tell everybody,
words
don't
on
fucking
MSNBC,
vote. Don't
which
trust
we were
any
all
of these
called
motherfuckers.
conspiracy theorists when it first happened, right?
But if you understood
so
Ron
they-
DeSantis, which I think
it
most
is
of you
so
do, you know why I
revolting.
voted against him.
And I do agree. Like, yes, make a case for why you're the best candidate, and these other people wouldn't be good candidates. I'm fine with that. That's actually talking about. I mean, I can do that all day long about Biden and Trump and RFK and whoever, right? And then also make the case for yourself. But they know right now that Biden is down in the polls to Trump, and they would rather, as you said, blame us a year and a half out than use their huge platform to engage their shitlib audience to say, hey, make these calls to your senators. Tell Biden that this is what you want. Tell your representatives that we need Medicare for all, a Green New Deal, a $30 minimum wage. But nothing. They never will.
Right. So who
They
then?
never will, and a big part of it is because they're literally paid propagandists.
Exactly.
These guys
So-
are paid
Hey,
spokespeople
Hoot
for the
Hell.
Democratic Party.
If I didn't say
And the
hey already.
Democratic Party doesn't represent the people. The Democratic
At all.
Party wants people dumb and shamed into voting for them regardless.
I mean, pretty much everybody from Obama's staff and cabinet went off to, head up a gig economy, like Uber or GoFundMe. Why would they want Medicare for all when GoFundMe is making millions of dollars off of the people who have to, beg for money from their friends for medical attention?
That's the new
it's just
healthcare.
also it is. It's all so corrupt.
Dude, what's the
Anyway, I just
solution?
find them so vile. So that's.
I'm
that's
I'm
the
aware of
biggest
all the
bit of
problems. I want to
propaganda
know what their
that's happening. Of
solutions
course,
are.
Poor Brianna Joy Gray always gets called into it by somebody. So she wrote, what did she write? You absolutely do not have to vote for Joe Biden, even if you live in a swing state. And then Olivia Juliana, who I think is usually sort of left adjacent, hot take that might make the lefties mad. This is voter suppression. How? I don't even get that. Making
What?
people believe that voting third party or not voting is some form of liberation and freedom from the two-party system is how right-wing extremism has taken hold of states across the country.
That is some serious gymnastics on that one.
Right?
Right.
I mean, voting for the lesser of two evils is what got us to have the most far-right Democratic president of my lifetime in Joe Biden.
Oh,
And everybody's just moved right.
Yeah, I need to see this tweet again.
what is the answer?
Making people believe that voting third party or not voting is some form of liberation. So voting third party, like
So funny.
Is voter suppression. What?
You hear Donald Trump
Telling
wants,
people they
is
can
voter
only vote.
suppression.
wants to
Yeah.
keep communists and
What
socialists
in the
and
fuck is that?
Marxists out of the country.
I'm sorry, the logic of these people.
Yeah. That's interesting where I can't listen to them because they truly, I mean, I hate saying the words that person said about Bernie, like, but they do make my skin crawl. Like, I just get, but like, so listeners of Pod Save America wrote into the show over the past few months to display their concern over Biden's flaws. The hosts
No law
either
regarding
joked
cannabis,
nervously
cheers,
about it or
Happy
waved it
420.
away. Well, I guess they want Trump to be president. I mean, that is actually, is this the joy part? That's the lesson I am taking from this, is that they don't mind. Listen, half of the Democratic candidates for the nomination, when it looked like Bernie was going to be the nominee, refused to say if they would endorse him if it was between him and Trump. So we know they would way rather have Trump there than anybody even marginally on the left.
I mean, we all know this, but the only thing they care about is stopping progressive policy. That's it. That's their whole goal. I mean, they admitted just this week, we had the clip, but I don't think we have it now because we had to condense things. But David Plouffe on Plouffe, is it Plouffe?
Yeah.
Plouffe.
Yeah.
David Plouffe, which is also a footstool. He was on, was MSNBC somewhere? Anyway,
Yeah.
basically admitted for the first time ever publicly that Obama's call is what caused.
Pat,
Depression.
I said this like
Hey,
5
Neil.
minutes ago.
No, I know you said it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I didn't think you explained it enough. But
I just wasn't sure if you tuned out for 5 minutes.
I went to my happy place. And
We did do quite a bit of pre-gaming, if you can't tell. We're trying to keep it together.
I thought I had more to add to it, but I don't know if I do. I think when I was thinking I had more to add to it, I was looking for the video and realized.
I know. I took it down
that's when I turned
because
you down.
I took it down because we had so many things that we wanted to get to. But
I'm going to call you right, but I don't want to.
that's my favorite thing. Just embroider that on a pillow and we can call it a day. All right, but then there's, as we know, lots more. Wait, where do you want to go with the propaganda aisle?
Let's show the fringe because they're pushing a lot of nonsense. I mean, on
Yeah.
one hand, they're saying no to third parties, but then here's a Republican operative on MSNBC basically, and their whole argument is that there's potential for third parties.
Just not from the left. Here we go.
Yeah.
As the 2024 presidential primary race starts to heat up, some fringe candidates are already gaining momentum. In a new article for Vanity Fair, our guest Mark McKinnon writes that presidential hopefuls like Marianne Williamson, RFK Jr., and Cornel West might seem like pesky, small-time tormentors, but in reality, they are seasoned, self-assured, and camera-ready candidates, and they are already stealing buzz from Trump and Biden. Bob Torselli and Mark McKinnon, the author, are still with us. Mark, how big of a threat are these fringe candidates to the current frontrunners? Because if you're perusing Twitter these days, there's a whole bunch of alpha macho men riding RFK like he is Secretariat these days, and they think he is the voice of the future.
Yeah, well, there's two ways to run in politics, scared and unopposed. So the better way to run is scared when you have these fringe candidates out there, because one thing we know is that the media abhors a vacuum, and they also hate a rerun, right? So they're going to look for any conflict, any place where there's a storyline. And as I mentioned in the piece, those three may be fringe candidates, but they're seasoned people, they're articulate, they have interesting, if maybe out there ideas that the media is going to gobble up. And there's some interesting things coming down the line that I think are specific to this election that are going to provide even more oxygen for those candidates. And I mean specifically the fact that Joe Biden has decided to skip Iowa and New Hampshire, go to South Carolina as the first primary. Well, that means that those three and perhaps others who may yet get in are going to suck up a lot of media attention and oxygen during those critical months when that's where all the media are going to be.
I think, first of all, it's an enormous mistake of Joe Biden to skip Iowa and New Hampshire. So I agree with Mark. It's going to create a platform and an opening which otherwise would not exist. It may be that none of these candidates at the moment have enormous followings and seem like credible threats, but Pat Buchanan, after all, did get George W. elected, and Bill Clinton, Woodrow Wilson, a host of other people became president because of third-party candidates. I would take it seriously in the White House. Joe Biden is going to win or lose the presidency by 2 or 3 percentage points.
And he's already down by 4 nationally.
Yeah, so we have the second part of this video.
That's a long ways. The election's a long way.
But I want to point out Mark McKinnon, the cowboy hat.
Quite
Mark
a claim.
He got Bush elected. Like he was Bush's campaign manager. And so it's kind of funny hearing this guy blame a third party candidate for why this guy won. I just noticed that in the video. Like,
yeah.
And now this guy's pushing third parties
only if they're right wing
to get the right to win, because he's a Republican. So like,
right.
You know, this whole conversation is based about how to get a Republican to win.
Right. Whether it has a D in front of its name or not. They're fine with anybody to the right, you know, Biden and they're fine.
I am.
Yeah, they would love Biden to win.
Yeah.
Shit.
I am. Yeah. It's me.
Do you want to show the next part, or it's kind of? I mean, what do you think? It's kind of more of the same.
And his HAF.
Just about how they're going to put together their no labels party with.
I think that's important. Because we are going to get a lot of propaganda about these other
possible
and no labels
unity tickets. That's what it's going to be. Unity.
And the comedy factor of this, like, listen to this and think about how realistic this is, and how much these people do not have our interests at heart when they're putting together these tandems.
Not even a drop.
A fringe of a fringe can decide this election.
Mark, you write about the possibility of unity candidates in 2024, and you even called Gretchen Whitmer and Mitt Romney the bipartisan dream ticket. A, dream for who? And B, how would that even happen?
Well, listen, absolutely improbable, but possible. There's a scenario here where an organization, No Labels, is creating a pathway for a third-party unity ticket that would occur if we got to next May, and if Trump were the nominee. And No Labels has made it very clear. The whole point that they're doing this is to make sure that Trump's not the next president. But if you had a situation where Trump was the nominee and Biden were, for whatever reason, in bad shape, whether it's a health crisis or economic crisis or whatever it might be, and you know, listen, I'm a Joe Biden fan. I supported him. But I don't think he's going to be better at 80 a year from now than he is today. And that's why most of the country doesn't think anybody should be president at 80. But he's running, and he's got a good record to run on. But if he gets to that point next spring, and he's down double digits to Donald Trump, all bets at that point will be off. And No Labels will have created ballot access in perhaps 50 states. But they've already established it in a lot. But let's say 40, 45, 50 states. And they'll put together a unity ticket. At that point, pick your brackets. I mean, you can pick your own favorite pairings. And at that point, if Biden's in that bad a shape, I think Democrats will be released to put up interesting candidates. So, you know, I like Whitmer. I like Whitmer Romney, but I like Cheney Buttigieg. Take your pick, whatever you want.
I mean, so yes to third-party candidates.
I think that's, and they're admitting that at the end, Biden could be in deep shit and drop out. His numbers are low, and it would be right for someone else to step in. So why are you dismissing the third-party candidates and or the other primary candidates?
Yeah,
in this scenario.
Yeah, I mean, they make it so clear. I wonder how many people this still works on. I mean, I do have to say, and you know, where we have it somewhere with cable news is down so much. I'm not sure exactly where we placed it. I think, here. This is amazing to me. The combined cable TV audience of Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC are now less than 1% of the U.S. population.
Microphone
a little over
looks like it's being beamed
combined.
up by Scotty.
Mr. Beast has 162 million YouTube subscribers, and New York Times has 9.7 million paying subscribers. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, the problem is those 3 million people always vote. And the people who are disenfranchised, disengaged, frustrated, working 3 jobs, feel like it doesn't really matter. Like, they check out. I totally get it. But so, I mean, I don't know. I wonder who still is buying this.
Yeah, well, the problem is once the election cycle really ramps up, what happens is normies sort of like, my values are, I'm a Democratic voter. They start watching this stuff for the first time. They tune into the debates. They tune into, see basically the debates. I mean, for the most part, town halls and debates and whatnot.
Right.
So their entire narrative ends up shaped by that 3 hours of television they watch for the entirety of their voting knowledge.
Yeah.
And the commentary after these debates frames it all. So even if, MSNBC and CNN have learned to get a progressive-ish person on there to look like they're represented, because it actually helps the centrists and right-wing people more when you are outnumbering the one outlier, because then all 6, say you got 7 people on stage talking about the debate, 6 out of 7 are saying, well, I don't even care if Bernie won the debate, for example.
Right.
But he can't win against Trump. So this is a death wish and propaganda. So anyway, the voters tune in for these moments, and these moments get pushed out to all the media. It's a reverse cycle. The mainstream, the biggest platforms push it out. The New York Times pushes it back, and then all the other little people run with the same narrative and stories.
Yes, and that is why it is called manufacturing consent. It's really depressing because I don't know how to get through to them, because, the truth is, and we talk about this all the time, is that the Pied Piper strategy wins. It really does. I mean, every once in a while it doesn't. Obviously, they didn't think that Trump was going to get there, but now it's kind of even better, because now we know what he was like for 4 years, and they could say, do you really want that? Look who he put on the Supreme Court. Look at Roe. That's the evil, just anybody but that. I mean, listen, liberals are telling me that it's okay that we're sending money to Nazis in Ukraine and weapons because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Like, they would rather side with Nazis than Putin. I mean, and they can't just both be bad.
And they're just so massively swept away by all this propaganda. So try to convince any of these people that we shouldn't be backing this Ukraine war, and you're like, you might as well be rooting for Nazis yourself in their minds,
Yeah.
I mean, we just had this whole
civil war.
What's his name?
Prigozhin.
Yeah, something like that.
Prigozhin, yeah.
Who leads the Wagner Group, which is this private military that's vile as all hell. The guy is unstable as all fuck. Had the balls to do this whole thing to push back against Putin, but it was never a coup that was going to end up with him defeating Putin and controlling Russia. But if that happened, you wouldn't want it anyway.
It'd be worse. It'd be worse. Yeah,
worse than Putin. But it was never going to be that. But like, all the liberals cheering this guy on, like he's gonna take down.
He became a freedom fighter in their minds. Yeah, freedom fighter. He went from being on the FBI most wanted list on the 23rd of June to the very next day completely removed because they thought that he was going to overthrow Putin.
Yeah, I added this meme because it kind of summed it up, I think.
Fuck neo-Nazi Yeah, because that's the other. Anytime
Wagner
you talk
bad, and then the media says Wagner good, and then they're yay Wagner.
Yeah, right. Sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted the storytelling of the media.
You're normally our speaker in chief because
I know. Sorry,
you speak well.
That was kind of amazing to see, with no thought to the catastrophe that would play out in Europe if there actually were a civil war in Russia. A nuclear armed state. Like, what are you talking about? But then they also were like, because the Wagner Group is the ones that the people, if you ever talk about the Azov Battalion being filled with Nazis, they will point to the Wagner Group. I'm like, great, I don't support the Wagner Group either. Like, it's so easy to me. If the enemy of my enemy is a Nazi, I now have two enemies. Like, I don't even understand where that all goes. But boy, they changed so quickly. They became freedom fighters.
And I mean, like I said, people that study this region knew initially, right from the jump, that there's no way this guy can take over. He can't get into Moscow and oust.
Right.
It can't be done. No realistic person studying this stuff would have said that. And they knew that from the start.
Right.
But they didn't bring those people on until Prigozhin backed out. And then they're like, well, no, this wasn't going to happen. I mean, It's still a win for Ukraine. It still weakened Putin in Ukraine. Yeah. And it actually didn't do any of that.
Actually, I mean, I don't know enough about the inner workings, and he might find himself, with a horse's head in his bed very soon, or like a victim of a chemical reaction. But actually thought the way it was dealt with felt very powerful and strong. I mean, I'm not a fan of Putin. I swear I'm not. I think all of this is horrible. But I didn't think that did not feel like a weak moment to me, that he reincorporated people who wanted to be part of his military and now they're part of the official Russian military. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and the spin just is so transparent. Who knows the reality? But the spin, you can see the spin for sure, because the guy who negotiated this the peace deal apparently to get this all hashed out, and Prigozhin goes back and lives. Yeah, and he goes back to live in
Belarus, I think.
Belarus. Yeah. See, look at you. You're sharp. You got all these names at your fingertips. Anyway, the guy that negotiated this deal, he's a straight up.
She's like, hell yeah, I'm sure.
He's always been this guy who just Putin throws him out there to take the hits on things and whatnot.
Right.
Well, as soon as he negotiated this deal, the next spin was, Putin looks weak because this guy got the deal done, and Putin didn't get it done.
Yeah.
Well,
you guys, that's the Punch Up podcast on YouTube. It's called Punch Up Pod. You can check them out. They're live right now.
You were telling everybody that this guy's the biggest puppet there is.
Yeah.
Here's a direct link to their show. All right, go subscribe to them. They're really nice people, and they're funny, and they drink while they podcast. They do this every Wednesday at this time. So, feel free to go over there and let them know that I sent you, and be nice, and they're cool. The hell is that all about, man? I got a hive. I got a hive from the goddamn cumin. I'm getting a reaction from the cumin. Fucking cumin. I don't like it. It was in the goddamn quesadilla. It was good until they tried to put cold pineapple jelly on my fucking hot ass quesadilla. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? God, man. So I just need that part. I just ate the cheese that was melted around the outside. It was really good. Really fucking good. They fucked it up, dude. They melted the cheese right off the quesadilla around the outside. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. It's just a disaster. It's a fucking disaster. I can't believe I paid money for that shit. Anyway. You guys are great. Love you guys. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Feel free to share this around when I'm live, man. You see the numbers are down. Give me thumbs ups. Do what you can, because when I see numbers like this, I'm like, see you. So, bye guys.